Welcome to today's show. I'm so glad you joined us. As always, you are the source of ideas and topics for our shows, so continue to come to CourtneyAnderson.com and share your feedback and let us know what you want to see on a future episode. Now, today is kind of a sensitive topic, and it's not really a disclaimer that I'm giving here, but I'm fully aware. I am fully aware of the reaction that this topic brings. So I'm just going to be clear about that up front. I'm going to try to be as gentle as I can. All right. But as you know, the pillars of my practice are pragmatic. Right? I'm always going to be honest and tell you what the reality on the ground is. I'm not going to tell you what I wish would happen in a fantasy or what might happen. I'm going to tell you what most likely is happening, and then I'm going to try to give you some passionate. I'm always passionate, because if I wasn't excited, I wouldn't be doing it. And I try to give you some problem-solving solutions. So understanding that, today's topic is another one that's just been so popular throughout the years, so we had to do a show on it so we could reach more people. And, oh goodness, this is about office politics. Office politics. Now, a lot of people, even when we mention just the term office politics, sometimes I see people actually, physically recoil. I mean, it's just, and the first thing people say is, look, Courtney, I'm not a politician. I don't want to play games. I just want to get up. I just want to put in a hard day's work. I want to do my best and be honest, and then just be, either rewarded for that or not. But I just want it to be fair. I don't want to play some kind of office politics game. I hear you. I really do. I don't either. The reality on the ground is that if you work in a larger organization, just due to the actual presence of multiple human beings, there's going to be some level of office politics that's occurring that you need to be aware of. And if you really, really want to be on top of managing your professional career and expectations and outcomes, you're going to need to do something to interact with that process. So I know it's going to be touchy. I know there are going to be some things I say that it just through the heart hurts people. But we've got to talk about this topic because it's so prevalent, so important. So come on, let's take a few minutes and let's talk about it. I alluded to a few minutes ago, or moments ago, that just by the presence of having a couple of human beings or more, there's going to be some psychological level to the daily interactions between people. And that's expected, right? Even when we're by ourselves. I mean, I'm self-employed, and a lot of the times, my day may be me at my home office on a computer. Maybe I'm working on something for an upcoming book, or I'm working on something for one of the classes I'm teaching. And it literally may be myself in a room with my computer and my beautiful dog. He's got his little dog bed next to my office. And that may be it for the day. And even in that, there's an element of office politics. There's an element of, as you know, we always answer the question of what I can and can't do, what the law says, what I should and shouldn't do, what business tells me in ethics, and why did I do what I do. And that's that personal empowerment, and that's the part we're talking about. Even when I'm by myself in my office, there's some games going on. I mean, I do it all the time. I'll sit down and I'll look at something. Even here today for the show, I've got it here, and I look at my agenda and I'll say, oh goodness. Even by myself, I may put things off. I may procrastinate. I may be playing games about what I've done or what I should do next. I mean, that's just in my own head. So when you add an office of professional people, all of which have their own goals and aspirations, then yeah, you're going to have some office politics. But I don't think it should be thought of in a negative way. It's just the interactions of people. I mean, all of us that are adults, we went to some kind of educational experience growing up. And I know I went to public school, and every school I ever went to, there's politics. So it's not like it's a surprise when I go out into the adult world and there are office politics in every job. I had it when I was delivering pizza. As many of you know that we've met, I'm proud to wear this. One of my professions previously, right after I delivered pizza, when I was younger, I worked for the Psychic Friends Network. I'm proud of that. I'm a professional. I still have certification as a psychic. I worked for them when it was Madame Cleo was in the commercials. I'm proud of that. So in all those different jobs and all the things I've done, there have been office politics in every single one of them. When I was a delivery driver, if there's a big order that comes up, there's 10 pizzas going to the local middle school, everybody wants that order, right? Because there's going to be some adult there, a coach or something, that's going to give you a reasonably good tip, and it's going to look like you carrying in all these pizzas. Oh, how hard this was. You're going to get a much better tip than somebody who's taken one little, $8 small pizza to a place that's the furthest that your store delivers. We know that. And there's going to be jostling among drivers. Who's going to get that? Who's going to get that? I'll tell you what they call it in the business, pizza delivery business, a run. That's what they call it. It's called a run. So for those of you who don't know. So there was always office politics. Who's going to get that good run? Or who's going to get that bad run, that little tiny pizza that's going to be so far away it's going to take you an hour to get there and back? Come on. So if I had it in my prior professions, I have it even by myself, and I know you have it where you work. I know you do. Now you have different types of politics. If you own your own business or you work in academia, it's going to be a little bit different than if you're working in retail, you're an entry-level worker, but we all have some level of this that we need to be aware of. One of the most interesting interactions I had about office politics was a few years ago. I was in the Pacific Northwest at a really big, very prestigious, successful organization. And they brought me in, they were having leadership training sessions for different sort of mid-level to high-level team members. And so we were breaking out our office politics meeting and we were getting started and there was a participant who immediately got very angry with me. I had gone just a few minutes sort of introducing, what we were going to be talking about. And she said really quite assertively, she said, well, it sounds like you're talking about manipulation. Like you're talking about manipulating people. Wow. She's right. The whole idea of being able to read the behavioral cues and understand the motivations of other people, to a certain degree, there is a level of manipulation in it. It's somewhat similar to people who play games like chess, where there's the board and then there's certain rules for each piece. And what you're trying to do when you're playing is read the behavioral cues of the other person and then kind of project and think ahead of what they're going to do, and then you're going to act strategically to try to block them or to take advantage of that. Or for those of you who play poker, that same strategy is happening. You're trying to read them and anticipate what they're going to do next, and then of course you're trying to use your behavior to counteract that to your benefit. Of course you are. Now when we're at work, all of us, I really honestly do believe all of us, and I've had the privilege, it's been a privilege, I've worked with, my goodness, every type of major governmental agency to several branches of the military, to lots of different private sector organizations, from the little tiniest businesses to huge global corporations. And I think all of us kind of want that feeling where, we're going to get up in the morning, we're going to brush our teeth, we're going to put on our work clothes, we're going to get to work, and then we're going to be judged, solely based on our good work. And it's not going to matter whether or not, we play the political game and whether or not people like us. That whole idea, right, of it's not what you know, but it's who you know. For so many of us, it's just so distasteful. What does that mean? So does that mean that it doesn't matter that I went to college, or I have skills, or I'm able to perform my job well, or people know that I do a good job because it's who I know? And if it's who you know, how do you get to know those people, right? So that whole idea is just so difficult for many of us to kind of digest. And it seems so blatantly unfair. That's unfair. Because I can always go out and learn something, acquire a new skill. But this thing about who I know, how do I get to know them? How do I get to be in that clique? It's almost like being in middle school. And there's the cool kids sitting at that cool lunch table. How do I get invited to that cool lunch table? Tough issues. I like to talk about this part of office politics. This is hard, so bear with me. Many of us get very confused at work between the difference of a work friend. Okay, so this is my work friends. This group over here, these are my work friends. Hi, work friends. Okay, we work together. We're doing work. I met you at work. Okay, work friends. And then all my real friends. These are my regular friends over here. Hi, regular friends, real friends. Now, how do I know who's in which group? Okay, your work friends, literally, you either met them at work, you work at the same place, you work for the same clients. It's something related to work. Thus, work friends. Real friends, right? Here are my real friends. How do I know they're a real friend? One, I didn't meet them related to work. I met them in something in real life. Your real life is all that stuff we do that's not about work. Like our real life, who we really are. Okay, so some people get very confused between work friends and real friends. And I've seen it a lot with the changes we've had in our global economy in the last couple of years. And I've done some interviews about this. It's very painful for people when there's a reduction in force, when there might be a termination or separation. It's not related to maybe even the work product, just the company is downsizing. A lot of people are they're so upset that this has happened and they're being separated from the organization, and that the friends that they had, some of them they may have known for 20, 30 years, they turn their back on them. And I know one of the interviews I did just recently about this, I was talking to the reporter and we were discussing, and he said, well, what do you do? He says, what do you do? He said, what would I do here? He said, if I was let go from this organization, am I just on my own? Are these people not going to return my phone calls, even though we've hung out and they came to my kid's christening and we were friends and had barbecues? And I said, it's not that. It's not that they don't care about you. But the motivation, this is where the political part of it comes in, the understanding somebody's behavior and sort of anticipating. Everybody gets up, brushes their teeth, gets ready to go to work. And we have lots of different reasons we do that. Lots of different reasons. But for a large percentage of people, the reason that we're getting up and brushing our teeth and going to work is because we're thinking to ourselves, I want to eat and have a place to live. If someone is dependent on me, if I'm responsible for a family, I want them to also be able to eat and have a place to live. So if your work friend has in their mind the choice between either I work and I eat and my family eats, or this person over here, they work and they eat and their family has the place to live. Most people in their own self-preservation, and I don't think anything is wrong with this, are going to go with, I need a place to live, and I need something to eat, and I need to be able to take care of my family. And if that means that because of the separation, that they don't want to be involved, if there's anything about work that's going to potentially be negative to them, that they maybe cease the relationship, it's not that they're being cruel. It's just that they're trying to be realistic and pragmatic about this. Now, do you people meet work friends who go on and are their friends for life and they transition into a real friend? Yes. Of course. That's just more rare. And in a very turbulent economic time, this is global, this is not an American situation, but in a global economic time, then people are really asking themselves, is it myself going to be able to eat and pay my bills, or are they going to be able to eat and pay their bills? And most people are going to go with, I'm going to be able to eat and pay my bills. Now that doesn't mean they're going to try to do anything bad to you as a work friend. It just means you need to be cognizant of that and aware of that. I hear a lot of people with office politics, and they say, it's so unbelievable to me that I gave a presentation or I had an amazing idea, and this other person at work, Wendy went and took credit for it, just took credit for it right in front of our boss, in front of everybody. Wendy acted like it was her idea. when we have these questions, right? Why do people do what they do? Let's go over the answer. The basic answer always is 1, because they want to, and 2, because they're allowed to. Now, the first part of this equation, because they want to, kind of ties in with what I said. Wendy's thinking, well, I'm going to eat and have a place to live. And that's a strong motivator. So Wendy's thinking about that. And Wendy has an idea that, okay, the people who bring ideas and innovation to the organization, those people are more valuable usually, right? To the bottom line. We understand that as business people. So if Wendy sees that it's important and it would be helpful if there was a new idea or innovation brought, and then she sees a new idea or innovation and sees the team member there or the manager that she could take credit for it, she's going to do that. If the second part of the equation, which is they're allowed to, right? They want to and they're allowed to. That's the part that we can influence in terms of office politics. I can't control whether or not Wendy wants to take credit for my idea. I mean, if it's a good idea, Wendy should want to take credit for it because it's good. In fact, it's sort of a compliment, right? It actually is. I mean, it's sort of a compliment when someone wants to take our ideas. It's sort of nice, wow. The catch is the second part of this. Am I going to allow Wendy to do that? Am I going to sit in a room with somebody in a position of authority, leader, executive, manager, and let Wendy stand there and take credit for my idea while I just sit there silently? Now, are there a lot of people who will do that? Yes. And if that happens, and I know this word causes so much pain. So I even hate to use it because I sometimes get so much pushback. I get so much pushback from people when I use this word because they say to me, Courtney, that's not a good word. That's a bad word. If I'm sitting in a room at work and I know it's my idea, and pretty much everybody else in the room knows it's my idea, except for the manager or executive, and Wendy takes credit for my idea, stands up and says, oh, I want to thank you and everybody, and I want to let the manager know that it's a great privilege to be able to present this idea. If I sit there and let Wendy take credit for it, now here's the bad word, and I'm just going to go for it. Who's to blame? And I know that word, blame. I guess I could use a different version of it. Whose fault is it? I know another bad word. No one likes these words. But honestly, I cannot control what somebody wants to do. That's powerful. A lot of times we struggle controlling ourselves, right? What we want to do. So that I don't even touch. I don't go anywhere near it. But when it comes to this idea of, are they allowed to? Am I going to sit there and allow someone to do this? I would strongly recommend against it. Now, does that have to be some sort of assertive, aggressive, angry situation about, oh my goodness, Wendy, how dare you? You're a liar. Do I need to confront Wendy like that? No, I do not need to confront Wendy. But I can very professionally, and I always recommend, when you've come to one of my communication programs, you know this. I always recommend we're in control, right? We're always calm and we're always assertive. I don't have to raise my voice. I never, ever display a loss of control. But I could just really calmly and very professionally set the record straight and just say, Wendy, I'm so glad you spoke up. And you're right, Wendy. You did contribute. That one line item 7, you helped revise that, and I appreciate that. That's fantastic. But I just want to clarify for everybody, okay, that of course the inception of the idea was mine, and that I controlled all of the meetings and the planning and the scheduling of this, and also the deliverables and the final product. And I do want to go ahead and acknowledge Wendy's contribution because it's great. It's fantastic, Wendy. Thank you. But I also just want to make sure that we're all on the same page because there's some things in here I know probably need improvement, and I won't be able to get that good feedback, that constructive feedback, right, if I'm not being honest about the project and my role. There's lots of ways for us to take control and to let other people know at work what we will tolerate in terms of office politics and what we won't. And of course, I'm a big believer that we teach people how to treat us. So if I'm at work and I've created this image where I never say anything, I never say anything, then that's probably how people are going to treat me. But I can do it in any style that you're comfortable with, for your personality. So don't try to be something you're not, but just for your own personality. You know, find a way where you're comfortable drawing a line where you let people know that you really want to be respected, and you want to ensure that you can't control the way that they feel, what they want to do, but that you are definitely going to not allow them to treat you in a way that is unfair to your career and your aspirations. In terms of office politics, they're real. Are they the same in every organization? Of course not. They're not even the same in every division or department or floor, because every group of people is different. So you need to invest in reading the people on your team and understanding how the politics are working. And the politics are just the behavior, you being able to anticipate what's going to happen. How do you need to approach them? In whatever way is comfortable for you. In whatever way is comfortable for you. I suggest, and this is just a suggestion, I know it hurts, I suggest that you remain cognizant. They're work friends, right? And there's a lot to that. Not just that we met at work, but that I behave a little differently around my work friends than I do with my real friends. And my real friends, I'm not at work, I'm not necessarily professional, I may speak differently, I definitely dress differently. I mean, it's a totally different, it's just me in my regular life. And I need to have a healthy balance between work friends and understanding, okay, those relationships and how they impact my life, and my real friends. The best thing I strongly recommend is that you're just appreciative and honest with yourself. Office politics are not a bad thing. They're just part of the way that we relate to people and how organizations are run. I thank you so much for joining us today, and have a great rest of your day.